We have here. The moment that UPS is being published online, look who we have here flying over my head, just like they were at the Ontario Town Square, and who is nearby. Not those who are ignorant of who you are, not those who are not engaged in anything other than stalking. What's in her back left pocket, right pocket, that's a psychopath, a vagina monitor, a closeted homosexual, demons together who are pacing, two bodies in the engineered environment is pacing. And they're crossing path in concert with the entity that's flying over me at the OVITT Family Community Library by helicopter, doing so at what is 5:33 p.m. while they're monitoring on the venue of the internet. This is relevant to the kidnapping that Mike LORENZ, as a pattern of conduct, this department, and Craig Hazelwood and Owens, who you hear committing a kidnapping on my podcast and who you see committing a kidnapping on May 4th, 2026 at 537 North Euclid Avenue, doing so while they're maintaining surveillance on the venue of the internet, doing so with the criminal intent to retaliate. They're going to federal prison. And the entities engaging in this while the UPS is gang stalking by hovering right here, stalking, and so is the police department. Flying over again, this is psychopathic pacing. This is, again, a suicidal agency that is a threat to the public. They're exposed for criminal activity, and you're looking at them engage in what is an outright public display of what is the ongoing threat to the United States, the American citizens that they are. The people of the state are pacing along with them. Sarah's Regis Group is sharing in terrorism right now. Wells Fargo is sharing in terrorism right now. The population is sharing in that, and this is psychopathic pacing at the same location where the fake Sun and the Ontario Police Department are on record, stalking me at this venue from sunrise until sunset. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct, and this is the entity that engaged in criminal summoning S. Casas is gang stalking, engaging in stalking by wearing a police uniform in concert with the people who are stalking with light. That's what you're looking at, and they're engaged in all manner of pacing. The entity is stalking me by helicopter with regard to that well-documented pattern. They like to stalk in helicopters when they're conspiring to murder somebody that has the audacity to try to document or report it. That's why Mike LORENZ is going to prison. That is terrorism. That's a murderer. That's engaging what are utilizing and abusing the resources of a police department, which the Paul Leon, who was a terrorist, is funding. This is relevant to the governor of the state of California, funding terrorism. This will be the basis of prosecuting homegrown terrorists and putting them in federal prison, such as Mike LORENZ and those that have engaged in kidnapping and those that are stalking in helicopters. This is a documented act of criminal violence by everybody that's in these vehicles. I have gone through the effort of documenting license plates, but I want to be clear, you're going to conduct investigations, you're going to get the identities of those who are going to federal prison when they engage in these iterations of terrorism, threatening an American citizen that they plan to murder. Because they plan to do it not on video. They plan to do it when it's not published on podcasts. They plan to do it when they derive pleasure from molesting you with impossible light and stalking and lurking in the dark with the police department that they think protects them while they engage in what is threatening you, pulling knives on you, trying to run you over with their car while they're obsessively stalking you. That's what's represented there. That's what's flying over my head by helicopter for the second time today. Not the second time. Remember, it was more than once at this Ontario Town Square, by the way. It was more than once. And they're doing so while they are documented on video. And what do you see them do? They engage in more and more and more of it. This stalking with helicopter activity is relevant to what is psychopathic. Mike LORENZ is a professional vagina monitor. He's a chief of vagina monitors. He's not a police chief. He is a terrorist leader, and this is proven beyond a reasonable doubt. This is a psychopath that's engaged in what is systematic murder via the corrupt enterprise, which is calling itself a police department in Ontario. It's going to be disbanded, and these murderers are being removed from law enforcement. They are the reason for the violence that I've proven the people of the state of the California, in the city of Ontario, are engaging in, and it's the basis of federal prison. That's why they're flying over my head at the OVITT Family Community Library. UPS is being federally prosecuted because while I document them gang stalking me, the gang stalkers that bear guns and use helicopters terrorizing and threatening me then are engaging in what is attacking me again with the people of the state. That's why UPS, the people of the state, is being federally prosecuted. It's a federal RICO case. It's conspiracy to commit murder, criminal obstruction of justice while they are stalking me in commercial planes, keeping my evidence under surveillance, and around we go with regard to that prosecution. This is P.O.C. The entity is going to report. This is how the policy works. The entity is going to report who is stalking the identity. You know who it is. It's the agency. But the entity is going to report the particular terrorist because that person is going to prison. It's the same with those gang stalking in planes. And Alan D. Wapner, the board, the executive team, they're being prosecuted. And the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario Fire Department, they are being removed. The Ontario Police are being disbanded. And I've documented, such as Jay Montez, he's going to federal prison. This is the criminal conduct he was engaging in. At 9:38 in the morning, he was stalking. This is P.O.C. It is currently 5:37 p.m. This is Title 18 federal stalking with the intent to obstruct justice. Stalking and terrorizing and harassing me while I'm publishing the evidence on the internet where there is no warrant or probable cause or legitimate interest to engage in what is surveilling on the internet when you are engaged in what is also criminal surveillance in relevant position. This is psychopathic pacing, and this is the entity that has put itself on the map with regard to what is domestic terrorism proven in the U.S. And these are the mentally ill. That's the Nephilim. They are maniacal psychopaths, and this is what you need to know as aware. Now that you need to be aware of, now that you're aware of it, this is how it's going to be prosecuted, because it is mental illness that is shared by a population who are not normal. They're not just walking by. That's how the system of stalking and threatening you is underway. They're going to be committed. They're going to be prosecuted. They're going to be deported out of this country, any and every which way that you are neutralizing this national threat, while the Nephilim are engaging in this very attack. And this is what they are doing as psychopaths under a fake sun, where they are worshiping someone that they are stalking until they can murder that person. P.O.C. All right, the entities engaging with a federal RICO case, all the businesses, all the facilitating venues where the people of the state live, they're being simultaneously prosecuted while the government is acting with them. P.O.C.